So ChatGPT released agent mode a few days ago, and agent mode is to act almost as a person completing a more complex online task. It opens a virtual computer and does what you would do yourself, doing searches, compiling information, synthesizing it. And it's only available, it looks like, for Pro, Plus, and Team plans. I have a Plus membership. It says most tasks can take between 5 and 30 minutes. But I'm going to give it a assignment that I would typically give a graduate assistant. I formulated a prompt, and this prompt uses what I typically use for prompts is I give it a role. Okay, my role is Associate Dean at St. Francis. I give it some context. We will be joining the President's Athletics Conference, and I want to understand attributes of the member schools and specifically their business programs. I give it a task. So this is the task. I would like to do online research to identify schools currently in the conference. And then you give it a format. Okay, and I want it presented in a Word document, includes tables for common attributes, things like that. I give it some constraints. I want it to use websites, publish data like iPads. I fed this prompt into ChatGPT and I said, make the prompt better. And it came back and gave me a better prompt using role, task, context, format, constraint, and additional instructions. So these are the objectives, all this good stuff. I think some things I didn't think of, like Carnegie classification, recent or notable institutional news or events wasn't in my original prompt. There's some good things here. I am going to copy that new prompt into my browser, not to my browser, but into ChatGPT. So I'm going to start agent mode /agent. I'll bring in agent mode, and then I'll simply give it the task and see what it does. Okay, so as it sets up a virtual desktop, so this would be my GA going back to her office and starting on this task. So first, it looks like it is trying to figure out, because I didn't tell it what schools are in the President's Athletic Conference. So it looks like it's it's the PAC Athletics website, reading that, trying to understand that. Looks like it's having trouble because there's dynamic features, but this is live. I'm watching it like I'm looking over someone's shoulder doing this. Looks like it found a news article. Not sure why it's going to the National Fast Pitch competition to try to find the names. So that could be wrong. I'm not sure if a school doesn't have a softball program. That's going to check other sources for full membership. Hopefully it ends up at Wikipedia. It's like it's on W&J's website for some news article that PAC officers announced. So maybe that has the list of schools in it. So it's innovative, or what do I say, like clever in how it's trying to find the list. Oh, there it ends up at Wikipedia. If you assume Wikipedia information is usually reliable, it should be okay. All right, so now it must have the list, and now it's probably going alphabetically to each of the business programs and starting with Allegheny and trying to extract that information. I'm going to pause the video because this can take, it says anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes. I'm guessing it's going to take closer to 30, but I'm going to pause it. And then when it goes to the next school, I will start it up again. So it's about 5 minutes into its work, and it looks like it must have completed Allegheny and is now moving on to Bethany College. So it's still working on that. So this task is probably going to take, I would say, closer to an hour than 30 minutes, but I'm going to keep letting it go here. You can see it's searching, looking up U.S. news, identifying iPads, credible sources for Bethany College. Now, it's about 13 minutes into the task, and it's on Franciscan University now, and it seems to be having trouble navigating the Franciscan website. So it's trying different routes. It's going to read the content. This will help gather the information. So I believe it's finished Allegheny, Bethany, Chatham, and is now moved on to Franciscan. It's about 20 minutes in, and it's now working on Geneva. Once again, looks like it's going alphabetically. It looks like it's on the Geneva business website, getting information about their accreditation and their offerings. Over a half hour in, and it looks like it's on Teal. I think there's 12 schools in the conference. It still has, after Teal, I believe, Waynesburg, W&J, and Westminster to go. But appears to be making progress. Almost 40 minutes in, and now on Washington and Jefferson. 50 minutes in, and it looks like it's completing it and creating the Word document. So it gave me a report back, and I wanted to see how long it took total before I opened the report up. So I asked it. It said it took over an hour. So 10 minutes for formatting and validating the prompt structure, 35 to 40 minutes for gathering the research. Took longer than I thought for creating the Word document, 15 minutes it looks like, and then 5 minutes final packaging. Wants a streamlined version for future requests. I'm not sure what that would be, but I'm going to open the report and we'll see what it looks like. So this is the document, and I open it up in Word, and it's using something called tether IDs for citations. I'm not exactly sure what tether IDs are. I think this is some kind of unique identifier, and this might be the line where it finds it, but I probably would ask it for traditional footnotes next time. So it looks like it has two tables in here. One is institutional characteristics of the member schools, and it looks like it has a second table, which is business program structurings and offerings. One thing I note is that the table definitely doesn't fit. So it does have some formatting issues, so I'm going to try to format it correctly so we can review this. So I'll maybe the easiest thing might be to change the orientation, the landscape, maybe make it a big page. That kind of fixes it. Not what I would want to print. Obviously I'd need to do some more formatting changes, but it looks like it went for every school, found the institution location, the type, its approximate undergraduate enrollment with a citation, graduate enrollment, the endowment with a citation, the Carnegie classification, and some recent notes and events. So these, I'm not sure I'd have to validate all of these, but it looks like it got all of the schools. I'm not sure. Let's see, Westminster. Yeah, it looks like it got all the schools. Table 2 for the business programs offerings. Even for some, it was able to, looks like it found maybe some of the full-time faculty. I really want to know I don't know how to navigate that tether tag. So I'd probably want to know like the URL it found it on and maybe what line. So it has the majors, sometimes the minors, graduate programs, accreditation. Not sure, some are not specified. Chatham is IACB, I knew that. Geneva is ABCSP. It has some facts that it found interesting, or that it thought I might find interesting. So anyways, this took over an hour, probably a lot of compute time. I'm guessing if I gave this task to our GA, it would have taken him or her, a few days. I'm not sure which one would have been more expensive, the compute time, the cost of the compute time to do this, or a few days of GA's time. I'm sure the GA would have produced something that was better formatted, perhaps more validated, but still probably not a bad start, right? So this would probably be not a bad start. I want to also note that during this hour that it ran, it was running in the background, so I did not need to watch it. I did watch it for the most part to see what it was struggling with, but I could have been doing other tasks in other windows at the same time, and it was all working on a virtual window somewhere on ChatGPT servers. So that's my first video on ChatGPT Agent. I'm going to try another one in a bit where it has to use a website to create something. So I'll see you soon.